Hey everyone, in this video I'm just going to be showing off a mutant deck I made for Magic. A lot of this is just a mix of cards I already had, plus stuff I found online and inspiration I got from Magic Arena, and tried to keep it within a budget. And yeah, here we go. So this is pretty much the curve of it, aside from over here being lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the way I listed these, for example, if you look here, the casting cost and the mutate cost are usually different, and so I categorize these by the mutate cost because that's how this should be playing. You should be casting them for the mutate cost to get the most abilities. So starting off with the little ones, I've got Zagath Mamba. When it mutates, something just gets -2/-2. Rookie Mistake, Stern Dismissal, Unsummon. It's all just removal. And then I added in a Soul Ring just for more mana. Boot Nipper. So he is kind of just a base mutant, that's what I'm calling it. It's like you play that early and then you mutate that to get all those effects. And so this way you can choose to give it either Lifelink or Death Touch. Lotus Cobra, these guys are Gs. You pretty much, whenever you play a land, you get a second land. And that's really nice for ramp. Now, Polywog Symbiote, I have a love-hate relationship with, because yes, if you read it, it does make mutations cost 1 less, which is nice, and it lets you draw a card, but you have to discard a card. And in a lot of those cases, I really don't want to discard some of those, because they'd be very helpful. But I also have a tiny sideboard. They might switch back and forth. I'm not really sure yet. I have played tested this deck with a couple people, and I've only lost twice, which is a good sign. Anyways, Sea Dasher Octopus. Kind of cool. It's a cheap mutant with flash, and it lets you draw cards when it deals damage. And like I said, with some of these cards and with other stuff I'll show in a minute, kind of a theme I was going for with this deck, other than mutations, obviously, was creature removal. So rather than making my guys, really big and have trample just to bash through, I figured just get rid of the creatures the opponents have, so you can just directly hit anyways. And there's a few different ways I have that set up. Rush of Vitality. Creature gets +1/+1, or +1/+0, and gains indestructible and lifelink. It's kind of just, someone tries to kill your big creature that you've built up. That's a way to save it. Unexpected Fangs. It's a nice little bonus, plus lifelink. Then I threw in a Jousting Lance to give it +2/+0 and First Strike again. So, like, if something big blocks it, hopefully the creature's strong enough to kill it with First Strike so it doesn't die itself. And then, moving over to the 3s, we have Insatiable Hemiphage. He's pretty freaking cool because every time it mutates, you gain life for each time it's mutated. And that's really helpful sometimes, as well as drain your opponents, and it adds Death Touch to the stack, which is dope. Migratory Greathorn. This man is also really nice. Pairs well with Lotus Cobra. Whenever it mutates, you go look for a basic land, enter tapped, and yeah, if you have Lotus Cobra out, you can pretty much, you add a floating mana, so it's like you're getting to play it untapped, which is amazing. Grim Tutor, one I already had, I just threw in here. It just a tutor, lets you look for any card you want, and that's really nice when you have all these different mutants that do all these different things, and if you need one ability specifically, you can go look for that. I have another artifact, Fire Shrieker. Gives equipped creature double strike, and since a lot of this is going to be based on buffing one creature like crazy, giving it double strike could be really nice. And we've got a mana geode down here. Enter, scry 1, tap 1, any color. And this is a 3-color deck. There is, if you can see, blue, green, black. So sometimes you don't always start with what you need. So stuff like mana geode is very nice. And Lotus Cobra, because you can add one of any color. Alright, the only one I have for 4 is 2 copies of Pouncing Shore Shark. It's mutate for 4, flash. When this creature mutates, you may return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Again, another way to just move the opponent's stuff out of your way, and you can just hit with your big guy. Then next, we have Chittering Harvester. When this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature, again, letting you just hit directly. Mind Leecher is pretty interesting. So, he adds flying to the stack, which is nice. He's a 5/5, and it says when you mutate this creature, exile the top card of each opponent's library face down, and then you can play that card for as long as it remains exiled, which is nice, and it's actually turned out better than what I thought it would be when I originally added it to the deck, because most of the time when you're playing against somebody, they'll be playing potentially different colors as you, even though this deck covers 3 of the 5 colors in Magic. Mana Geode and Lotus Cobra, since they add any color, work very well with Mind Leecher, because then you can play opponent's cards even if they're playing, like I was playing against a guy who's playing a red-blue deck the other day, which I produced blue, but not red, and he kept exiling red creatures, and so I was like, well, that sucks, and I was like, wait a second, no, I can actually play those, and it was a lot of fun. So Mind Leecher's pretty nice. Auspicious Starrix, this guy is a freaking beast, literally, he's an elk beast. His mutate cost is kind of expensive, but again, ramp helps. It says, whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile X permanent cards, where X is a number of times this creature's mutated, put those permanent cards onto the battlefield. So let's say he's the 4th mutant on the stack. That means you'd exile 4 cards, and then if any of those are permanents, they come straight onto the battlefield without paying the cost. And if some of them are lands, for example, if you have Lotus Cobra out, you already add more lands. Instants or sorceries that wouldn't stay, obviously, but any creatures would also come out for free, and so that guy's pretty nice. Now, Lochmere Serpent, this dude costs 6 to play. He is not a mutant himself, but I threw him in here as just kind of like a big body, because there's a decent amount of ramp in this, and sometimes you have just more mana than you know what to do with. It's a good problem, I know. So yeah, he's a 7/7 for 6. He has flash, and then I think the best ability is the top one. If you pay a blue and sacrifice an island, he can't be blocked this turn. And in standard, that's pretty nasty, because, 7 of 20 is a good hit. And then if you pay to do different stuff, you can like bring him back or gain life, draw cards. It's pretty cool. Archipelagor is another expensive one. He is a mutant though, costs 6. This one lets you tap creatures that opponents control, and they don't untap, which is very nice, and a little bit different of how I'm removing opponent's creatures to hit, but, if they're tapped, unless they have something that lets them untap their creatures, or special abilities or something, they can't stop your attacks, and that's very nice. Dirge Bat, also a nice dude, 2 copies of him. Again, an expensive mutant, and his mutate cost is 6, whereas playing cost is 4, so, it's more expensive, but it's kind of worth it if you read it, because he adds flying to the stack, and whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So we've got ways to make them pick stuff back up, sacrifice creatures, and just straight up kill them. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. And then, on the land side of things, this is a primarily black deck, so I'm playing with 7 swamps, yeah. And then only 4 forests and 5 lands, or 5 islands. Now, I've technically got another swamp up here. It's a Witch's Cottage. It's a way to bring back a mutant if it enters untapped, which is very nice if something died somehow. Dismal Backwater just taps for blue or black. Fabled Passage and 3 Evolving Wilds. I mean, Fabled Passage, if you read through it, it's pretty much just a glorified version of Evolving Wilds. They both go look for lands. And that's pretty much it. Except for sideboard, I was looking through cards the other day and found some stuff that might work pretty well. Mysterious Egg. This one's not new by any means. It's, whenever it mutates, put a +1 on it. That's decent, but the reason I don't really have it in there is because it's a base mutant, meaning like if you don't start building off of it, it's no good. Like if you play it turn 1, it only costs 1. then yeah, that's great. But if, it's turn 6 and you play this, well, you're not going to start a whole new mutant. You'd want to get all the effects of the previous one, so that's kind of useless. Cavern Whisper, mutate for 4. It gains Menace, which could be really nice. And when it mutates, each opponent discards a card. A little bonus there. Then the last guy, we have Glowstone Recluse, fuzzy little spider dude who gains Reach, which is kind of nice because there's only, I believe, 2 creatures out of this entire deck that add flying. So, if the opponent's playing something as flying, it's a little hard to stop that. So he gains Reach, and whenever it mutates, put 2 +1/+1s, which could also be very nice and just helping build them. And then, this gets big anyways. When it gets bigger, it gets, +2/+2. And then you could throw something like Jousting Lance or the Fire Shaker to give a double strike or first strike and +2/+0, and it could just get really big, really nasty. And of what I've played so far, it's really popped off a couple times. It's been a little slow some other games, but it still came through. I just have to get the right cards. And the 2 games I have lost, one was because I had the problem of not getting any kind of base mutant where that egg probably would have helped. I just couldn't get creatures out there, and the deck I was playing against was very aggressive. And then the other game, it was just on me. I did a stupid mistake of attacking with big guy I shouldn't have because the other dude killed him. But yeah, that's pretty much it. She's done. It's great. I love it. A lot of fun to play. And may update it, may not. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching.